Hey y'all, this is Marley K. Hope everybody is doing well. Got basically a synopsis, a week's synopsis from Biometric update. And there are a couple of updates that they're just like synopsises, but if you click on the links in this particular post that I'll have in the description, you can click on the links to get more on the stories. So, the top biometric news for the week is MasterCard is retiring the 16-digit credit card number and replacing it with a combination of tokenization and on-device biometrics to prevent card not present fraud following data breaches. So this is what makes me think a lot the cyber pandemic that they were talking about, all this theft of information. Suddenly all of these companies are unable to secure your information, all the hacks, and so now they got to come up with a new way to be able to ensure you're safe, and it is the way that they want you to ultimately end up in, which is going to have you basically caught up in the blockchain technology, no buy no sell system. So it says the change will happen gradually between the initial rollout announced with Australia's AMP Bank and 2030. So notice that everybody's still sticking with that 2030 agenda, which means a lot of stuff is going to be accelerated between now and the next couple of years, which will also coincide almost with the end of Code 45's term. So, I don't know how quickly or how slowly things will move, but we got to keep in mind every day that nothing serious happens or we are able to avoid making tough decisions is a day that we have to prepare spiritually, physically, emotionally, and mentally for the challenges and persecutions to come. So it says MasterCard has also designated Europe's longest named towns as click-to-pay capitals, as card numbers are not the only piece of data being replaced by tokens. The next story is about digital wallets. So it says digital wallets have already gained substantial traction in certain niches within payments and digital identity. And posts from Fime and Matter following the publication of a EUDI Wallet Consortium white paper suggests that combining the two functions could improve each. So it says David Birch notes that Apple Pay paved the way for Apple ID, which he argues will soon be the primary use for Apple Wallet. So the Apple Pay is, I guess, the tap to pay option. I have a friend and he uses it all the time, and I'm just like, doesn't matter how much we have the conversations and talk about, hey, you shouldn't be using that thing. Everybody is, always so casual. Well, they got an excuse. Nobody wants to admit their role in, once you come to the knowledge, then you have to accept responsibility for your role in helping to push the agenda. So anytime you accept the comfort, you don't push back, you take the easy routes with everybody else, your conforming is complicity. And it makes us who try to push back against everything and have a few morals and values, it makes us seem like we are pessimists or problematic, but really we all should be pushing back and not just walking into all the offers of ease like everybody else. We just shouldn't be doing it. And you can see how, again, these mobile devices are going to be the death of us. So this is why I keep telling y'all that you're going to have to really think about your use of technology. So it says, not to be outdone, Visa makes the case for another digital identity technology, which is passkeys, as the way to secure payments against fraud. In a guest post by VP and Global Head of Authentication, Identity, and TAP, Matt Charpentier, for Biometric Update. The FIDO Alliance developed the technology to replace passwords, but also serve to connect biometrics and payment credentials. So anytime I see anybody trying to offer me passkey, I pass on by it. And I'm getting a lot of pushes, whether it's from Google or some other app or something that you use, or everybody always trying to get you to let you preserve the passwords and give you have a certain way to protect you. I already know whatever they're offering me ain't for my benefit, and so I'm not opting into it. Now if they were like, you gotta have this or we holding your stuff hostage and I need it, then maybe then I might be forced to do it if it's something that I need. If it's not, I'm just like, oh well, y'all can have it and walk away. But a lot of sites are offering passkey as a option to protect you, and with that comes the requirement of biometric data to be collected. So you need to be very careful about giving up your eyeballs and fingerprints and facial recognition information, because it's tied to something much greater, and before you know it, you're ensnared. So it says the next story is U.S. national security authorities, privacy advocates, and government IT workers are sounding the alarm over attempts by the administration of President Donald Trump, to run the government with AI while slashing oversight. So I'm going to say this again. Trump is trying to run the government using AI while slashing oversight. So the computer's going to be doing the work, but nobody's going to be watching the computers. It's going to save money, allegedly, so they can steal the money that's saved. That's basically what's happening. A former employee of a company belonging to Trump's Silicon Valley advisor, Elon Musk. So I'm just cut out that part. A former employee of a company belonging to Elon Musk has proposed an integration of authentication service login.gov with other government databases, which appears to be illegal. So this is a way for them to get all sorts of access and data, which is needed for the CBDC, for the national currency. So make no mistake about it, nothing that these people are doing is innocent. They ain't helping you. They're giving you a little bit of information and making you feel good like they're saving you while they're kicking you in your ass at the same time. So don't be flattered at all about nothing that you see on the news. Okay, so add reduced benefits fraud leading to lower illegal immigration and therefore less support for populists to the arguments advanced by former PM Tony Blair in favor of adopting digital identity. Blair also called for greater government digitalization and for police use of facial recognition to advance beyond trials. So Tony Blair is the former prime minister of the UK. And he is suggesting that the government over there hurry up and get to digitalization, and for the police to use facial recognition. And y'all know they have had cameras for a long time in Europe, everywhere posted up. So it's not like they haven't been using it, but they're going to use the two together, from my assumption, and tie it to lower illegal immigration. So y'all know the Snow Children of the Corn, just they ain't gonna be happy till they have control. They got to keep control. They're losing control. People are waking up, so they gotta institute a new form of control, one where you have a lot less control than you've ever had in the history of humanity. So it's just an interesting time to be alive. All right, next story. The market reverberations to the UK government's announcement that it will issue digital wallets and MDLs continue, though at a lower volume. So it says the answer to the question posed at the end of Computer Weekly's insightful assessment, which is why not use a government ID over one from the private sector, is found earlier in the article. In the description of gov.uk verify. So it looks like the UK is trying to in the EU. They're like in a desperate push to get everything digitized because they know they're going to war and people are going to be desperate. So they get you in the system before everything goes down. When everything goes down, they got you in their databases wherever that information is stored. So when they need to help you, they can help you with all this new digital stuff because you've already bought into the system and you're dependent upon them to be your savior instead of the Most High. All right. Let me go down to Aadhaar. Aadhaar is the system India is using. So Aadhaar, it's the authentication is coming to India's private sector with the release of rules for its use by non-government entities. Businesses will need to request to use Aadhaar. UIDAI will review the request for public interest and compliance with the rules, and MITY will issue approvals. So, they sold Aadhaar initially because you needed it for government assistance. You had to use it to get gas. Like, there was a whole lot of stuff. And it's basically the biometric info tied to your cell phone, tied to your bank account, tied to a digital ID. And if you didn't have it, you couldn't participate in certain things in society. Well, now it's extending to the business sector, which is how everything always happens. And it's the digitalization of societies around the globe continues. Okay, so IDEMIA Public Safety is supplying facial recognition to a Canadian police force under an $800,000 contract to compare investigative images against mugshots. So check this out. So if you are being investigated, even if you didn't commit a crime or you're not guilty of a crime, if they're investigating a crime and there's a picture of you, they can go through mugshots, police mugshots, and look for you. So, I don't know what to say. I just hope the Most High hurries up and come and gets us. The contract follows similar deals with two other regional forces last May, and Halton police say the technology will follow a strict policy similar to theirs. Yeah, everybody always have strict policies that they don't follow, just like the police, just like governments, just like everybody else. They have rules and then they break their own rules, and then they were like, oh, well, we sorry, there's nothing I can do about it. It's crazy. So the next story is about traveler registration in Europe. So it says Atos is in hot water again, with officials investigating the French company's use of its Russian office to purchase software for the EU's EES traveler registration scheme. The purchases were made prior to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but the office's operating license grants the country's security agency access to its work. And whether employees there had the right security clearance to make EES purchases is unclear. So, sound like it's some poo shiesty stuff going on with traveler registration software. But anyway, it's just always going to be something. I have one more story that I want to share with y'all. I saw it over here in the section on the side. So this story came out on February the 10th, 2025. It says Trump deregulation is reshaping the future of biometric surveillance in policing. I want to talk about this particular story because we know anything policing is slave patrolling is tied back to African Americans and surveillance of African American communities. They have been surveilling the projects and a whole lot of places where we live for a long time. And if you go outside at any time at night, wherever black people are, now you can see drones. Even in rural places, if there is a place where black people live, you see stuff flying in the air at night. And I've seen it myself. I live, like I said, in a small country town, but I live in a black community. And at night, I'm outside, and sometimes I just see stuff zipping across the sky when it's clear, and it's like, what the hell is that? And then sometimes it hovers over apartment complexes where predominantly black people live. So we all should be afraid. Anywho, the advent of AI has exponentially increased the capabilities of biometric tools such as facial recognition, fingerprint analysis, and voice identification has enabled voice identification has enabled law enforcement agencies to enhance their surveillance and investigative efficiency. However, the legal, ethical, and security implications of these advancements are significant and multifaceted, particularly considering recent shifts in federal policy under the Trump administration. Upon returning to the White House, President Donald Trump swiftly dismantled several Biden-era regulations, including comprehensive guidelines on AI that emphasized privacy, security, and ethical safeguards. The revocation of these regulations marked a pivotal shift towards a deregulatory approach, which is bad for us. It don't matter if they regulate it or not. These people, Edom ain't going to follow no rules. They're going to do whatever the hell they want to do. But we just talking about it from the perspective of knowing is half the battle. You need to know what's coming. You need to know what it's going to look like. You need to understand that these governing bodies and these governments that use this technology will be able to do whatever they want, use this technology however they want. And so it's going to be best that you stay out of the crosshairs of these people. But even if you do, you could have a doppelganger somewhere out there. You could have a twin, and you could be at the store minding your own business, buying some grapes, and somebody could come and scoop you up and say you committed a crime or you're under investigation because AI said so. And that's it. You're done. You're just done. So it's a very scary time. It's, what I'd like to conclude. The revocation of these regulations marked a pivotal shift towards a deregulatory approach, prioritizing innovation over the stringent oversight that had been a hallmark of the previous administration. This policy has profound implications for the use of biometrics in law enforcement. The lack of comprehensive federal oversight creates a fragmented regulatory environment, complicating compliance for law enforcement agencies operating across state lines. This inconsistency not only undermines the effectiveness of state-level protections, but also creates legal ambiguities that could be exploited by agencies seeking to circumvent stricter regulations. So that's my whole thing. It's like whatever they do, these government agencies are just gonna subvert the system. They're not going to do stuff on the up and up. And we have no reason to think they will because history has shown us it doesn't matter what they have, what new technology they have. Their goal is to control us, to terrorize us, and to protect the people who use the technology instead of the people who are being persecuted and pursued by the technologies. That is going to continue, but it's probably going to get a whole lot worse. So again, this is why, I caution you about using self-checkout and all kinds of stuff. Anything that can get you tossed in the pokies for a long time, held without hearing, against your will, or in violation of your civil rights, while we still have those, I think it's going to be a problem. So it says the consequences of lax privacy and security measures in the integration of AI with law enforcement are already becoming evident. Reports from agencies like the Department of Justice and the Department of Homeland Security underscore the ethical dilemmas and regulatory inadequacies that accompany the rapid adoption of biometric technologies. So this is how you know it's going to be bad for us. They're adopting it quick because it's going to make a whole lot of mistakes, and you're not going to be able to get out of it. So that's why it's going to be very important for you to keep your papers on you at all times so you can prove you're a citizen, because you could have somebody in the database that looks just like you that's not a citizen, and they could ship you to Venezuela or Cuba, to Guantanamo Bay or somewhere. You could be held indefinitely in some secret jail, for-profit jail or prison in another state, and there's nothing anybody can do about it without a hearing, without seeing a judge, and nobody in your family will know where you are. So we are living in some very dangerous times, and there are plenty of snow people willing to help this system ensnare us, as long as they think it's not going to ensnare them too. But no matter what happens, understand that our persecution today is going to be their persecution tomorrow. So find joy in that, if nothing else. Without robust safeguards, the potential for misuse, discrimination, and privacy violations remains high. We already know, because they already do that to us, and nothing is going to change because the people who write this stuff and make this stuff are racist. So you already know what's coming. To mitigate these risks, a comprehensive and balanced approach to AI governance is essential. This includes reinstating and enhancing federal regulations that prioritize privacy, security, and ethical considerations, alongside fostering collaborations between federal, state, and local agencies. So even your local law enforcement's going to be getting in on the fun. Independent audits, transparent reporting, and community engagement are crucial in ensuring that the deployment of biometric technologies do not come at the expense of fundamental rights and public trust. So if you have an opportunity to participate from the community engagement perspective while these things are being tested, I recommend you strongly do so, because a lot of times we don't have a seat at the table. We're excluded from knowing these things are happening, and a lot of times our people just don't care. So if you live in a community and they're talking about doing this stuff, and you know it's going to impact your community, if you're African American or a black person, join the discussion, please. So Trump's new executive orders on AI, though, are aimed at removing barriers to American leadership in the field, and significantly underemphasizes critical issues related to privacy and security. By rolling back requirements for risk assessments and ethical evaluations, the administration has effectively loosened constraints on the deployment of biometric surveillance tools by federal law enforcement agencies, and by extension, state and local law enforcement. At the federal level, DHS exemplifies the challenges and risks associated with the federal approach to AI and biometrics under the governance framework. DHS faces significant gaps in its implementation strategy. The lack of a comprehensive plan and inadequate resource allocation have hindered the department's ability to effectively oversee AI applications, including facial recognition and biometric data analysis. A DHS Inspector General's audit highlighted these deficiencies, pointed out delays in privacy compliance reviews, and the absence of formal frameworks that assess civil rights implications. So anyway, this is a long story. So I'm gonna go down to the bottom. It says the broader implications of the governance gaps exacerbated by new Trump policies are troubling. Without robust oversight, the risk of biased decision making, privacy infringements, and ethical lapses in AI-driven law enforcement practices increases. This is particularly concerning given the historical evidence of racial and gender biases embedded in facial recognition algorithms. Misidentification and wrongful arrests resulting from flawed biometric technologies disproportionately affect communities of color, exacerbating existing disparities with the criminal justice system. So you ain't got no friends with AI. AI ain't gonna help you, ain't gonna be your friend. I've been told y'all that. The people that program AI racist. So ain't no need to think AI gonna save you from being a victim of discrimination when there ain't no humans. The computers gotta do the assessing. The security risk associated with the use of AI in law enforcement also cannot be overlooked. The centralization of sensitive biometric data, coupled with the lack of stringent cybersecurity measures, creates vulnerabilities that could be exploited by malicious actors. Thus, them dirty race soldiers. When the dirty race soldiers decide to exploit the system, they will, and they do. So there's not going to be anything different. But we just talking about it out loud because I want y'all to know what time it is. The integration of AI-driven tools into federal systems, as advocated by figures like Thomas Shedd under the influence of Elon Musk, raises further concerns about the potential misuse of personal data and the erosion of privacy protections. And that's what I'm talking about as we head to these CBDCs and this centralization of information so they can control everything, implement the ESGs, these the social credit system, being able to determine if you can buy or sell, participate in the system, if you get government assistance or not. So those types of things are coming down the pipe, and this is why they are in those databases. This is why they are doing what they're doing. The proposal to integrate login.gov with sensitive government databases, bypassing established legal safeguards, exemplifies the administration's willingness to prioritize efficiency over legal and ethical considerations. The Trump administration's deregulatory stance on AI and biometrics also has international ramifications. By diverging from the ethical frameworks emphasized by allies such as the European Union, which prioritizes data protection and human-centered AI development, the U.S. risks alienating international partners and undermining its position as a leader in responsible AI governance. So everybody playing their role. So America gonna be the villain as always. We're gonna do this on our own, how we want to do it, and we don't care. So like this why I'm talking about it, because y'all need to get ready. It's getting ready to be ugly out here. So the less you can go into these systems that are using this stuff, the better. The little mom and pop shops and independent stores, places that you can go without having to use this stuff, is going to be the business. So it says, by diverging from the ethical frameworks by allies such as the European Union, which prioritize data protection and human-centered AI development, the U.S. risks alienating international partners and undermining its position as a leader in responsible AI governance. The absence of a cohesive federal policy may also hinder the ability of U.S. companies to operate effectively in global markets where stringent data privacy standards are enforced. And maybe that is because Babylon gonna be destroyed. You ain't gonna need no policies because Babylon ain't gonna be here. Who knows? I don't know. While the integration of AI and biometrics in law enforcement offers significant potential for enhancing public safety and operational efficiency, it also presents profound ethical, legal, and security challenges. The current federal deregulatory approach under the Trump administration, characterized by the dismantling of Biden era safeguards, risks exacerbating these issues. A coordinated and ethically grounded regulatory framework is imperative to ensure that the benefits of AI in law enforcement are realized without compromising individual rights and societal values. Well, we know that ain't finna happen, so I don't even need to read nothing else, because we talking about America. This is America. So that's my biometric update. You just need to understand what's happening, what the expectations are for this technology, why everything is being rolled out so quickly, and why they are like, look here, look there, look here, look there, this on fire, that's on fire. These things are moving full speed ahead, and most people are not even paying attention. So it's gonna get wild out here. Y'all gotta figure out how to keep yourselves safe. You gotta understand the moments that we are in and try to do everything you can to protect yourself in this system, because it's a whole new type of captivity coming, and it ain't finna be pretty. All right, y'all, this is Marla K. Please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload new content. Follow me on Odyssey, Rumble, Instagram, and on Facebook. The links are in the description. If you'd like to support the channel financially, my Venmo and my Ko-fi links are in the description box. Finally, keep prepping, keep praying, keep seeking the Most High, obey those law, statutes, and commandments daily, and make sure you are repenting daily for sins of commission and sins of omission, because it just looks like we got to be out of here soon. We just got to be out of here soon. We just got to be out of here soon. All right, this is Marley K. Love y'all, and I'm out.